The first week of August is already shifting everything, and the chosen ones are being called to higher alignment. In this video, why the energy of August 3 to 10 is no ordinary week, the hidden emotional triggers arriving now, what chosen ones are being prepared for, why this week sets the tone for the rest of 2025, and how to protect your frequency as the portal opens. You were meant to see this today, and not a second later. This week changes everything. Your spirituality, astrology, astronomy, your universe. You felt it, even without fully understanding why. Something within you whispered that this week is unlike any other. It's not about fear or anxiety. It's a subtle vibration, almost silent, but steady like a bell ringing in another dimension. The first week of August has been constructed as an invisible labyrinth, orchestrated by cosmic forces that don't operate on logic, but on energy. And in this labyrinth, every step isn't just a choice, it's a vibrational declaration of who you're ready to become. The call doesn't come in clear words. It shows up in the slight restlessness you feel upon waking, in the discomfort that arises when faced with patterns that no longer fit, and in the sense that something needs to be adjusted now. It's as if the universe has set up a force field, and those who are even slightly awake are starting to feel its effects, even without naming them. A frequency is being transmitted, and it doesn't communicate with the mind, but with the soul. This energetic labyrinth isn't physical. It has no walls or arrows pointing to the exit. It's drawn in the small daily decisions, in the thoughts you repeat, in the emotions you insist on ignoring. It's a path that demands more than knowing where to go. It demands being coherent, being conscious, being aligned. Because within this labyrinth, there's no way to deceive the field. The vibration is both the map and the key, and perhaps right now you're standing at one of these invisible crossroads, a decision that seems small but could shape the course of months, maybe years. This is no exaggeration. This week was designed to align or disrupt, to open or close, to seal or let slip away. And those who walk with open eyes know that the silence of the call is, in fact, a shout, an invitation to radical presence. The labyrinth isn't a punishment. It's an opportunity, a sacred chance to tune into what you've said you want. But now, the universe wants to feel whether that vibrates in you with truth. Are you ready not just to desire change, but to be change? Because the call has already begun, and it demands an energetic response. This year, the Lion's Gate portal doesn't behave like it did in previous cycles. It's not just an open door for beautiful requests and intentions. It's a filter, a cosmic sieve that isn't impressed by words or moved by promises. The 8-8 of this year is calibrated to detect coherence, not fleeting emotional intensity. It's like a vibrational scanner that reads not what you say you want, but what you truly sustain energetically. In past cycles, a strong desire, an affirmation, or a visualization might have been enough. Not anymore. The collective energy has gone through many collapses, purifications, and redefinitions, and the portal has evolved too. It doesn't respond to automatic repetitions. It responds to the raw vibration of your essence, what you can't hide, not even from yourself. This filter is subtle but relentless. It cuts through layers of self-deception, unmasks intentions disguised as light, and delivers with precision what is compatible with your real frequency, not the desired one, but the one you manifest. That's why this year many will feel like nothing is happening. But the truth is, everything is happening just based on a new metric, vibrational authenticity. This is why you may have felt confusion, exhaustion, or even frustration in recent days. It's the misalignment revealing itself. The portal is exposing the gap between what you claim and what you vibrate. And this isn't punishment, it's clarity. It's the most direct invitation the universe can offer you to embody your truth with radical honesty. This year, the 8-8 doesn't hand you just anything, it hands you back to yourself. And that, though it seems small, is the true miracle. Because when you align with what's real within you, everything that needs to be magnetized will come as a consequence. But it will only come if it's compatible with who you truly are, not the character you've learned to wear. The portal doesn't give, it filters, and only those who have already become their own request will pass through. The full moon on August 9th doesn't arrive alone. It comes within a vibrational corridor already activated by the portal, and its light isn't just aesthetic, it's surgical. Think of it as an ethereal mirror placed in front of everything you've desired, felt, or silenced in recent weeks. It doesn't judge, but it reveals, and in revealing, it expands. Everything that hasn't been emotionally resolved will rise like foam. Everything that's been energetically incubated will accelerate. This isn't an ordinary full moon. It acts like a magnifying lens on your field. It amplifies what still binds you, but also activates what's ready to be released. It doesn't seal empty promises, it seals decisions felt in your core. And because of this, it will be deeply intense for those still trying to maintain appearances or resist their inner flow. If you've been experiencing waves of sensitivity, sudden mood swings, an urge to cry without apparent reason, old memories resurfacing, or a piercing clarity about something previously clouded, know that this is the mirror at work. It's not punishing you. It's clearing the surface so you can see with precision what no longer vibrates with your path. But beware, the mirror isn't passive. It illuminates, yes, but it also dissolves. Anything not sustained by vibrational coherence can evaporate suddenly. Relationships, plans, habits, ideas. The full moon doesn't negotiate with the ego, it responds to the soul. And the soul is always asking for liberation. This is the moment to not shy away from the reflection, to look at what arises with respect and curiosity, not judgment, because only those who surrender to the process will experience true liberation. Emotional surrender is the key that transforms reflection into release. And this week, your emotional courage will be your spiritual strength. Before we continue, if this video is bringing you clarity or resonating with what you've already been feeling, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment below about what's stirring within you. This helps spread this message to those also seeking true alignment. There's a kind of contract you don't sign with a pen, but with your energy. It has no written clauses, but it's recorded in frequencies. These are vibrational contracts, silent agreements you make with the universe every time you choose, think, accept, or delay. And this week, these contracts are being renewed or terminated without notice. Every micro-choice is shaping not just your day, but your timeline. Most people believe that destiny is determined by big decisions, but the universe responds to small permissions. That message you know you shouldn't reply to, that recurring thought of scarcity you still feed in silence, that excuse you repeat to avoid moving forward. None of this is on pause. It's all in the process of energetic signing. If you say you want evolution but still feed routines that belong to your old self, the field understands that you've chosen to stay. If you claim to want a conscious relationship but engage with repeated patterns, the universe understands that you still vibrate in the old mold, and it responds with precision. There's no morality in this, just vibrational correspondence. This is where many manifestations stagnate, not because the universe is taking too long, but because the current energetic contract is misaligned with what you say you want. And this incoherence creates silent, almost imperceptible, but real blockages. The timeline isn't a linear road. It's a field that reorganizes with every gesture you make. And the most powerful thing is that you can break these contracts now with simple movements of truth. You don't need to shout to the heavens or light candles, just decide with conviction, this no longer represents me. And sustain that decision with actions, even if discreet. Because the universe doesn't read your lips, it reads your field. So, this week, observe your micro-choices with the attention of someone redesigning their own path. Because you are. And it's not about being perfect, but about being precise. The future doesn't begin tomorrow. It begins now. In every small yes or no, you vibrate without realizing. You're in the midst of a profound process, but a single slip, a distracted glance at someone else's life, an unconscious scroll through the feed, and your frequency starts to distort. Comparing your journey to someone else's, especially this week, is like opening a leak in your own energetic field. It seems harmless, but the impact is subtle and corrosive. Every time you measure yourself against what someone else has achieved, how they vibrate, react, or manifest, you abandon your own timeline. The trap of spiritual comparison is even more dangerous because it disguises itself as inspiration. But there's a difference between being inspired and distancing yourself from yourself. True inspiration activates you. Comparison empties you. And the Lion's Gate portal at this moment is scanning precisely this: who is anchored in their truth and who is still distracted by others' truths. Every time you stray from your inner rhythm to try to match someone else's, even silently, you send a clear message to the universe: I don't trust my timing. And the field responds, then wait longer. Because the timing of your soul can't be accelerated by external impulse. It blossoms in the silence of radical acceptance. Moreover, comparison doesn't know the backstage. You see someone's present, but not the deserts they crossed. You notice their shine, but not their polishing. And by comparing yourself to their surface, you dishonor your own depth. Your soul knows this. That's why the discomfort. That's why the loss of focus. It's not guilt. It's a warning. This week, the call is clear. Deactivate the external radar. Return to your vibration. Close your eyes, breathe, and listen to what your frequency is saying without interference, because only your coherence can sustain what's about to come. Your healing, your manifestation, your expansion, they all arise from the soil of your presence. And that soil only flourishes when it's not trampled by comparisons. The portal isn't testing your speed, it's testing your fidelity. The only timeline that belongs to you is the one that arises from within, and it only reveals itself when you stop looking to the side. Not everything that arrives this week is a sign of progress. In fact, some of the most seductive offers are, at their core, tests. Vibrational traps disguised as answers. The Lion's Gate portal in this elevated frequency doesn't just release the flow, it examines your ability to discern. And that's exactly why many false blessings appear first. We call these imitations, situations, people, invitations, or decisions that seem to align with what you asked for, but vibrate at a slightly misaligned frequency. It's almost right, almost divine, almost true. But the almost is precisely the trap. The universe wants to know if you're so connected to your essence that you won't accept what's merely similar to what you deserve. This kind of test doesn't come with warning signs. It presents itself with shine, but leaves a hum in your field. A discomfort that doesn't come from the mind. It comes from the soul. Your intuition whispers, your body tightens, your frequency wavers. But if you're in a hurry, needy, or anxious for results, you might fool yourself and accept what seems like a path but is a detour. Remember, what's truly yours doesn't pressure, doesn't confuse, doesn't cause inner noise. What's truly yours sustains your peace, even when it challenges your ego. And this week, the test lies in the subtlety. You'll be invited to say no to something that seems good, but isn't true. to something that calls you but doesn't honor you. This is the portal's filter in action. It separates those who ask from those who recognize, and it only manifests for those who've learned to distinguish gold from glitter. So breathe, silence, observe, and if something feels too urgent, too perfect, or too easy, it might be time to step back and listen to your vibration before responding. Because what's true doesn't seduce you. It recognizes you, and you'll feel it deep in your chest, if you're aligned enough to not settle for less than what was promised to your soul. Your body doesn't lie. While your mind tries to interpret the signs of the moment, your body is already feeling them. It's the first line of vibrational reception, an ethereal antenna tuned to the subtlest frequencies. And this week, it's receiving intense recalibration codes. Don't be surprised if you feel sudden waves of fatigue, fleeting dizziness, tingling in your hands or feet, unexplained insomnia, or moments of clarity so sharp they're almost uncomfortable. This isn't random. It's adjustment. The Lion's Gate portal energy is repositioning your vibrational line to align with higher versions of your being. But for this to happen, old layers need to be released. And where do these layers reside? In the body. Emotions you haven't expressed, pains you've normalized, tensions you've ignored, all of this starts to emerge as physical or emotional symptoms that, though subtle, are persistent. The most common mistake is trying to silence these signals with external stimuli, caffeine, distractions, mental justifications. But this week doesn't ask you to push through. It asks you to listen. Because these symptoms are your frequency talking to you, updating your field. When you accept the symptom as a messenger, not an obstacle, it fulfills its role and dissolves faster, hydrating more, sleeping without resistance, breathing consciously, silencing the mind, and respecting urges to retreat are spiritual acts, not luxuries. Your body is receiving codes. It's translating for you what your soul already understands. And this translation, though sometimes uncomfortable, is precious. So, right now, don't fight what you feel. Observe, honor, embrace. Because your body is doing exactly what it promised before you were born, keeping you aligned with your mission, even when it requires stopping, even when it feels strange. Your body is part of your awakening, and it knows. There's a form of communication that doesn't pass through the mouth or eyes. It passes through the field. This week, your presence will be your loudest prayer. Your vibration, your silent stability, your ability to stay anchored even amidst others' chaos will be, without you realizing, a living medicine. You'll be called not to speak, but to sustain, not to convince, but to radiate. Someone close to you, a friend, a family member, someone in your circle, will enter a vibrational collapse. Emotions will erupt, confusion will arise, imbalances will surface. And when that happens, you'll realize you don't need to do anything. Just be clean, centered, present. Your field will be the balm. Mature spirituality understands that not every pain needs to be saved. Some just need to be crossed with someone nearby who doesn't run away. This is the new kind of spiritual leadership. Silent, invisible, but deeply felt. The old world shouts, explains, imposes. The new world vibrates, embraces, sustains. And you, this week, will be a frequency mirror for someone who's forgotten who they are. Your simple presence could stabilize a storm. But this will only be possible if you've already stabilized within. So, before you try to help, align yourself. Before you extend a hand, ground yourself. Because the only true help is the kind that doesn't drain, doesn't invade, doesn't manipulate. It just is. And being in this case is a gift, a service, a mission. Your clean presence speaks in frequencies the other person may not consciously understand, but their soul recognizes. Prepare to be that space, not with the arrogance of thinking you know, but with the humility of feeling. Healing doesn't happen in the noise. It flows through the silence. And this week, the vibrational silence you carry might be exactly what someone around you is asking for, without words. There's a version of you that already exists in another layer of time, a you who's already passed through this week, crossed this portal, made the choices now before you. This version isn't a projection. It's a real, accessible, active frequency, and it's watching you, not with judgment, but with loving expectation. Because it knows that everything separating the now from your next cycle is an energetic decision. It's not about waiting to feel ready. Your future self wasn't created from comfort, but from courage. It vibrates in clarity, lightness, strength, not because everything was easy, but because at some point you chose to act as if you were already them. That's what the portal is asking for now, not for you to become, but to recognize that you already are, even amidst doubts, even with fear, even without the perfect scenario. Every true change begins like this. Someone decides to stop behaving like their old version, decides to breathe differently, think differently, choose differently, and in that moment the field vibrates, realignment initiated. The universe doesn't demand perfection. It responds to the silent decision of someone who, even trembling, vibrates as if they know what they carry. Your future self is calling you closer. And this call won't come in words. It will come in glimpses, in feelings, in that intuition that persists even when everything feels uncertain. Listen, feel, allow yourself to start living as someone who's already crossed. Because the more you act as who you already are, the faster you approach the reality written for you. Time isn't an obstacle, it's an invitation. And the future already knows your name. The question is, are you willing to answer? This is the moment when the portal begins to narrow. The energy is no longer scattered, it's condensing, and with it comes the question that seals this entire week. Are you vibrating or just waiting? Because the universe doesn't move for passive hope. It moves for active presence, for living vibration, for embodied decision. Many say they're waiting for the right time, waiting for a sign, waiting to feel ready. But in energetic language, that sounds like noise. The field responds to those who already vibrate, as if what they've asked for is happening. The difference between desire and manifestation is the frequency of action. Those who only desire vibrate absence. Those who decide vibrate presence, even without guarantees. This is the kind of week that separates those who still doubt from those who've already embodied. It doesn't matter if everything is resolved on the outside. What the portal reads is what's vibrating within. It doesn't need to see your victory. It needs to feel your readiness. It's not about performance, it's about vibration. It's not about convincing the heavens, it's about resonating with them. This is the time to silence fears. Align your posture, breathe deeply and affirm with your presence, I am here. Even with doubts, even without control, even with scars. Because your soul knows that destiny isn't reached, it's inhabited. And that habitation begins now in how you think, choose, feel and move. The Lion's Gate portal isn't waiting for your perfection, it's waiting for your decision. And that decision is a seal, a code that activates the next phase of your existence. Time won't stop for you, but it can bend in favor of those who decide to live now as who they already are. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who also needs to realign this week. And if you want to keep receiving guidance about energetic moments like this, subscribe now. This journey doesn't need to be solitary, but it does need to be conscious. You felt this call for a reason. Don't silence it.